Today I want to talk about foot pain. Plantar fasciitis, if you've heard it, this area in the bottom of your foot, generally where you get pain kind of here in your heel. It's very troublesome, it's very painful, it's very hard to deal with. You may be like me. I've done this myself, watching other people's videos, trying to find ways to deal with this. You get the hook, fix your plantar fasciitis in 3 different exercises, or get it done in 15 minutes, or instantly fix your plantar fasciitis. That's misleading. It takes a bit of time to deal with that, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, how to address it properly. So today I want to do a video, show you what I've been doing, the things I've adapted that have been helping me. It's a slow process, it's not instantaneous, but I am getting progress. I have been dealing with it for a little bit of time, a couple months now, and I am starting to see some progress with what I'm doing. And I'm going to show those things to you today, and you can adapt them to your own treatment program and see if it works for you. Let's get going. So to give you a little bit of knowledge about what's going on here. So you have muscles that are here in your lower leg that come down. Some muscles here from what's called the posterior compartment of your leg comes down through your ankle, wraps in to support your ankle, essentially like this. The outside of your leg as well comes down, and muscles come in and they attach into the bones here in the bottom of your foot and help support that arch. Excuse me. A lot of people maybe with a bit more flat foot or a fallen arch, there's some weakness going on that can contribute to having this plantar fasciitis. A number of things that contribute. It may have been a sports injury. You maybe have sprained an ankle and that's led to this. Maybe wearing improper shoes. A number of things we can go through and say what caused it, but the problem is you have pain now and you want to deal with that. Myself, I don't know what caused it. I may have been wearing cowboy boots and that triggered it. I'm having it 2.5 months now. It's bothering me. I have had it before. I'm not wanting to take any medications for it, anti-inflammatories. You can do that. That will help. That'll decrease the pain. It's not so uncomfortable. It's not going to fix the problem. But in that meantime, if you are using something like Advil or something like that, that'll help you with the pain. You can work on it a bit easier, but it's not going to fix the problem. You still need to deal with working on your foot and your leg. I'll give you my little routine of what I've been doing. For me, bringing the foot up like this into this position, and these muscles over here are generally, they're trying to work really hard, they're tight. So taking the foot in this position, I kind of work on it a few different ways, and this is called plantar flexing. So you're going to release this pressure in the bottom of the foot, but you're stretching out the top of the leg here, the front of the leg, and the foot. And you're going to kind of just rotate your foot with your hands and pull this down and feel this stretch. So I'll do this and I'll move it back and forth, stretching out that area of the leg and into the foot. Take the toes and stretch them down as well. So you're shortening that plantar fascia, taking some pressure off of it underneath the foot. I'll take a toe at a time. You can find one or the other, or maybe a couple that may be more painful. So for me, I take that third toe and it's pretty tight and sore through there. So I'll just work on those, trying to move all of this and stretch it out to begin with. And I can take the foot from there. You have rows of bones here in the middle of your foot that make the arch. So I'll support, part of my foot, take my hand, my thumb, hold that arch area of my foot, and then mobilize those joints just easily. Doesn't have to be super complicated. Just start mobilizing the foot. This is the natural movements that the foot will make when you're walking, you're moving on uneven ground. Something that's prevented when we wear shoes that are too thick and too stiff. Our feet are supposed to move and support us. So that can be another contributor to this being a problem with wearing shoes that are, doing too much for our foot, so our foot doesn't move naturally. So taking the bones, moving them around. Another thing I'll do, so there's long bones through here that come into your toes. This area of your foot has more sort of cubed bones that hold that arch together, and then your calcaneus, this big bone that's your heel. So you can take that bone as well, grip it like this, and then again, try to mobilize around that bone. So the joint here between the cuboid bones and your calcaneus, as it's called. It's a bigger joint there. When you do that, you're having pain here. It may be a bit more painful as you do that. Just try to work around. You can start to flex and extend your foot as you do that as well. Working through, just mobilizing the joints that feel stiff in here. You're going to start to take some pressure off of that plantar fascia. I'll start to work on my foot as well, into my foot here. So being a massage therapist, I like to use my hands. I will use some tools. You can have something like a scraping tool that you've seen people use maybe. I watched a video where a guy used a spoon, something you have handy. It's pretty easy to use. So you can take the spoon, you want to work through the plantar fascia so it attaches here, basically at the base of your toes, comes through and attaches onto your heel. You can take the spoon number of ways. You can hold it and just gently, it doesn't have to be super, super hard. You can scrape through and you'll feel kind of gristly bits, maybe things that are a bit more sore as you do that. You can move the foot around as you're doing that as well. Just experiment with what you feel feels productive. Find the areas that are a bit more gristly and sore. You can do a bit more time working on those. Work all the way through the foot, from laterally to medially through the whole plantar fascia like that. I'll do this when I'm sitting around with my wife watching TV. It's pretty easy to do. Then I'll take the area here. So this is where I'm feeling most of that pain, which is pretty classic, right in the edge of the heel. Take the spoon as well on the area of the actual heel where it's sore, and you can scrape back and forth, again, gently. If it's super, super sore, just ease off a bit. It's going to help get some blood flow into the area. It's an area that doesn't get super, super deep blood flow, so this is going to help increase that blood flow in the area and help with the healing process. So you can scrape back and forth. Again, you can anchor and move your foot around through the areas that are sore. So being a massage therapist, I like to use my hands, what I can feel. So I'll use the tools as well, but through the same area, I can use my fingers and do some active movement with my foot as I anchor in with my hands and anchor that plantar fascia and then move my foot through this range of motion. Just using my fingers and supporting them with my other hand and working through the area that hurts. I kind of like to get really anchored in here and move my foot and feel the stretch as I do that. It feels really good for me. It's been effective, so this is something I really like to do here. Working right into that heel, I can feel more what's happening with my hand when I do that. Where you're going to feel most of that pain here is right here on the edge of this bone. So it is nice. You can just work in and massage after you've started working through this plantar fascia, stretching it out with active range of motion like this, supporting with your hand, anchoring that area, and then just lightly massaging through here. After you've done some of that, you may like to ice it if it feels sore. I'm preferring to put heat on here. I'll wrap my heating pad around here and keep it warm after I've done some work on it. And then we can move on to some other muscular stuff that we can do to help support this as well. Sitting in this position here gives you good access to these muscles that are in your lower leg that are supporting your arch. So when this is this sore, the muscles that are supporting are running up, attaching down the tibia, and they're wrapping around into the foot. So it's a nice easy area here for me to work on basically your calf. Your calves are probably tight and sore, and I like to massage along here. So you'll feel the bony edge right along here, and as you come towards yourself, you'll feel the meat of the muscle there. The connective tissue, you'll feel there's some sore areas along there. You start massaging along using your thumbs. Again, not a ton of pressure, just feel where it's tender, get an idea of what you feel sore, and then you can just come here and do some pressure, hold on that area. Then you can move your foot up and down like this, let that do the work. kind of like a golf stroke, let the club do the work. You can just put some light pressure on that muscle and then move it around by moving your foot up and down. Find the spots again that are more tender, do a little bit more work there. Just work up and down here. You can, do a number of passes through here to start to feel those things that are sore. Work on them, move your foot around. You can kind of play around with how your foot moves as well. Not just up and down. You can try to side bend it and dorsiflex it. Plantar flex this way, dorsiflex this way. Try to rotate your ankle. Just move around. Do circles, all ranges of motion in here that you'll feel that muscle working as you do that. And we can move on to the next muscle. So this is called your tibialis anterior, this muscle over here, and you got some peronei muscles here on the side. So again, it's a nice position to be sitting like this. It doesn't take a lot of effort. Again, you'll feel that bony edge of your shin just come laterally to that. It's easy with your hands, just nice and easy way to grip. Again, palpate down, feel where you feel tender spots along there. Right along the bone, you can come a bit laterally as well, where you feel those other muscles here. Come down, feel the spots that are sore. And then again, grip with your hands and move your foot up and down. Nice and easy. Let your foot do the work. You don't have to put a lot of pressure, just so it's slightly uncomfortable, and you'll feel as you do these movements that it releases that muscle. It becomes less tense. The tension, the pain in there will decrease as you do this. And you're just going to move the foot. So you find some spots that are pretty juicy and they feel pretty good. Just do more work on those and just work on releasing everything down the leg and into the ankle. After you've done that, you can just do some more, a bit massaging, just gripping, squeezing, rubbing through that area, and you'll feel this tension decrease, and that's going to help your ankle to move better, and it's going to take the tension off that tender spot in your foot. So after you've gone through all these manual things you can do to work on your foot, these are the things, again, I said that I've been finding helpful for me, kind of simplifying it as I do it to show you what I've been doing. Another thing that I do regular as I'm sitting, because it's easy to do, is I have this exercise band. If you don't have a band like this, you can use, say, a long towel, a long piece of cloth if you have that. I have this one, which is really nice to do for this. So what I do, I have the band come under the foot, and then I'm going to do a loop that's flat around so that I can pull this and have tension basically right around here at the base. And if this is a towel you're using, you can just kind of wrap the towel around. You don't have to wrap it around. You can just loop it around the bottom. So what I do here, to get some, you're going to strengthen these muscles on either side that are supporting that arch in your foot. So I'll put pressure on one side of the foot. So say we're going to put pressure, we're going to work on the outside of the leg here. So I'll pull, let this one go loose, and then I'm basically just trying to rotate my foot down, and you're contracting these muscles on the outside of the leg to do that. So I'll work through a number, say 10, 15, 20 repetitions like that. And then I'll release this side, pull the other side, and now we're going to turn the foot in. And that's going to start strengthening these muscles that are on the inside of the leg. So I will go through, depending on how I'm feeling, 3 or 4 sets of doing 10 to 20 reps on each side as I do this. I'll just work through that and release, and then do the other side again. I'll go back and forth. The thing about this is strengthening that foot to help support that arch and alleviate the pain. So these muscles are the ones that are supporting that arch. Once I've gone through doing those lateral movements, then what I'll do is take the strap, pull it tight. And again, you can do this with a towel. So you're just gonna, if it's a towel, you're just gonna wanna move with the towel because there's no flexibility in it. So what I'm doing here is I'm pulling tension on there, and like I'm gonna do a calf raise, I'm just going to resist against the tension, pushing my toes towards the floor. So if you're really in acute, it's really sore, like using your body weight or something really makes it painful. This is not as heavy, but you can get through these ranges of motion and work on strengthening your soleus muscle, your calf muscle that's functioning this motion, that's raising you up on your toes. So 10, 15 reps, take a break, and then you can do 3 or 4 sets. Depending on your tolerance, maybe it's only 2 sets. See how you feel after you've done a couple. Maybe get up and walk around, see how your foot feels. And then you can go through doing a number of sets, building up tolerance to do more and more exercise like that. Now we're going to move on to the last thing that I like to do. So we're going to do a standing calf raise here, but we want to do something to support our ankles to make this more effective in supporting the arch in our foot. If you have a hand towel, or even a bigger towel that you can roll up about this thick, so about 1 inch thick, and you're going to place this on the floor. You're going to take the ball or your yoga block or your other towel to put between your ankles, and you want to have your feet right on this towel here. So basically the big knuckle of your big toe is basically just supported, so when you stand up on there, you're going to be pressing right onto there. When you're pressing up, you want to be pressing into that big knuckle of your big toe. You're going to take that ball and put it between your ankles, or if it's a towel or a yoga block. Go on to something where you can support yourself here, like I have the wall. So at this point where you initiate this calf raise, you want to basically kind of take your feet and feel your pressure on that big toe bone. So just kind of push your toes down, and then you're going to squeeze lightly to hold that ball between your ankles at the back, and then you're going to do a calf raise. And this is all the motion you're going to do. You're not trying to stretch out your calf. You're trying to squeeze that ball together at the back and then press through the big toe as you lift yourself up. So again, here you can do 10, 15, build yourself up to 20 repetitions. From this point, we're going to do this when we get to a point where you're starting to get some pain relief, feeling stronger, before you start ever wanting to go do any heavier calf races. At the end, after I've done all of these exercises here, and the last thing that I like to do, if you're sitting again watching TV, this is a nice time to do this. So you're just going to put your feet on the ground. So you want to pretend, go through the motions like you're trying to grip the floor and pull it towards you. So that foot that's sore, I'll do both feet, but you just want to, like you're going to reach your toes out and then pull the carpet or the floor towards you. Again, extend your toes out, pull them out, and pull towards you. And again, go through 10, 15 repetitions. It's nice and easy. You can contract, hold it there for a couple seconds at the end. So as we reach out with our toes this way, the arch comes down. And then as we squeeze in, all the muscles we're using to do that are creating more of an arch here, lifting it up. And that's what we're trying to do, strengthen those muscles that are creating that arch. The other part of that is you want to protect it and not aggravate it. So here's how I'm going to do that in the morning. Say when you wake up in the morning, it's most painful. You get out of bed, your foot hurts. So before I get out of bed, I start to move my foot around. Go through some of those ranges of motion that we did with the band, just flexing, extending, trying to like pull your calves up, extend your feet, get them all moving before you get out of the bed. Because as soon as you hit the floors, as you know, it's most painful. The other thing I do, the advice of a friend, was take my slides and I started wearing them in the house. Because I generally like to be barefoot. But wearing those slides is going to protect that area that's right on the floor, which is really tender. That's going to help a lot. The other thing is your shoes. I was out traveling, my foot was really hurting, the shoes I had weren't comfortable, were bothering me, so I got these Ultra shoes. I do wear barefoot shoes generally. The Ultra shoe is a barefoot, neutral drop shoe with more cushion. If you're wearing shoes like a lot of running shoes that have more of a heel rise, that's going to be problematic for your foot. You want to get into a neutral shoe. Those are some things that are going to help protect and prevent you from aggravating that thing more after doing all the work you're doing. Be consistent with the work you're doing. And maybe you like to add some heat or ice to the foot. This is sort of the conclusion of everything you might want to do and help it out. All these are the things that I've been using that I'm finding helpful. Being consistent, I think, is the biggest key here. Keep working on the foot. If it's feeling slightly better, keep working on it. Don't stop because it feels better. Be consistent, get the shoes, wear protection in the house if it's like a slide, which is nice and cushy. Wearing shoes that are going to support your foot when you're walking outside. You know, if you're a woman, you're wearing high heels, that's probably going to be problematic. Get into a neutral shoe. And be consistent. And let me know in the comments how you've found this working for you. Are you finding any of these particularly helpful? Even let me know if you're finding something that's not being helpful or something that you found somewhere else that is helping you. Let me know.